What's good, YouTube? We are back with another episode with Talks with CB. And today we'll be talking about Georgia Tech men's basketball. Yes, Georgia Tech, as you can see with all the stuff behind me. I went there, played there 2019, 2023. It was a great time. ACC champs, NCAA tournament during COVID. It was pretty nuts. I played with some great players. Jose Alvarado, ACC Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year. Moses Wright won ACC Player of the Year. We finished top 5 in the conference 2 out of my 4 years. We had a great run. Jose is playing for the Pelicans. He just signed a 2-year extension, $9 million. I think he's now over 10 plus million in NBA contracts, which is absolutely insane. Undrafted player. Great story. My dog. So happy for him and him and his family. Wish him nothing but the best. Hopefully he keeps grinding in the NBA. Some other players. Moses Wright, as I mentioned, he was ACC Player of the year that we won it, 2020, 2021. He's now playing for Olympiacos, which is in Greece, I believe. They're in the Greek EuroLeague. Jordan Usher playing in France for JL Berg. Absolute dog. Love the crap out of Ush. Just a great human being. Shout out to Ush for sure. And then Mike DeVoe, he's playing in Israel. Love Mike's game. Lefty, smooth, scores at will. You know he's going left, but he never not goes left, and you can't stop him from going left. So shout out Mike. I did a dub camp with Mike and Ush during college for NIL, which will be a topic of discussion later on. But it was unbelievable. We had like 50 kids. Made a little video. Coach Pastor came out. He was our head coach at the time. It was elite. Awesome time. Went to Spain, as I mentioned before, in a couple videos ago, and man, just unbelievable experience. Takes me to so many places in life. Went to Hawaii twice, Spain, New York. I mean, everywhere in the United States. It was unbelievable experience. I wouldn't change it for the world. Plus, I got a Georgia Tech degree, which was another unbelievable thing that I'm just so grateful, so blessed. Great time. I was a preferred walk-on, so when I went there, I knew what my role was going to be, and I knew that I wanted to go into kind of a coaching player role, and they gave me that flexibility to go in and kind of learn about the system, learn about the team, and learn the ins and outs of coaching. So my senior year, I was gifted a scholarship, was put on scholarship, and then was a graduate assistant last year for Coach Stoudemire. So yeah, just an unbelievable 5 years of my time, and so glad I went through it and was able to experience it. Moving to Georgia Tech basketball now. Where they are now, whole different team, new coaching staff, unbelievable coaching staff. You got Coach Hobbs from Rutgers, was at UConn, won a national championship with Kimball Walker there. You got Coach Stoudemire, obviously from the Celtics, just a unbelievable resume with NBA pedigree. You got coaches like BJ Elder, who played at Georgia Tech, Nate Babcock, who was around basketball all of his life. His dad's was a general manager, I think, for the Sixers at one point. He's got a brother who's a scout as well. Bonzi Wells, who is Coach Stoudemire's teammate, absolute GOAT, love Bonzi. Yeah, the list goes on and on. So much great talent around that staff, and they're doing a great job of getting a lot of good talent coming in, and I'm so excited for the season this year. They're projected, I think, 12th out of 18 in the ACC, and then Bai Ndongo, their freshman from last year, he is projected second team in the All-ACC conference, and you know, there's a lot of change in the ACC. Obviously, there's teams added in, there's realignments, there's different scheduling, different travel accommodances that you got to think about. And right now they're projected 18-13 on KenPom and 12th in the ACC, according to the ACC, media outlets and whatnot, experts, as they say. But interesting enough, you got 7 straight home games coming into the season, which is pretty ironic. I think that hopefully can set the table for, okay, here's what we're going to expect from this team. 7 games in, to me, that's a good starting point to know where you are, and it's nice that you're on your own floor for those 7 games. You don't have to travel at all, so you stay right where you are and can get a good understanding. Hopefully, you can go 7-0 because usually early in the year it's non-conference matchups. So strength of schedule, it can help you, but it can also hurt you. So if you lose these buy-in games, as they call it, it can really hurt your tournament bid for later on in the season. So this first 2 months is extremely important for your season. But every game is important, clearly. My starting five for Georgia Tech, I would say Nathan George is definitely the PG1. He is coming off an unbelievable freshman year. Nobody expected it. But I think internally, coaches and players knew his talent. They knew how good he was. They saw it in practice. They saw him progress every day, working his tail off. And kudos to him for taking his opportunity when we were playing Cincinnati, which was basically just a blowout game, but it gave him the opportunity to kind of just see what it's like to play at that level. And from there, he took off. I don't think he did not start a game after that. So really excited for his season 2. Then I got Javion McCollum, transferred from Oklahoma, another great talented guard, scoring guard. So I think between the two of them, that's a great combo. Nate's a pass first kind of guy to me, but can also score the ball very well. And then Javion, he is a dog. I mean, scores at will, savvy, quick, got a great first step, good handle, shoots the ball well. Those two, I think, will be a great combo at the guard spots. And then I'm going with Coates Reeves. Solid, consistent, shoots the ball extremely well from the corner. I think he was number 1 in the ACC last year. And then he's long, athletic, good defender. Gives you some size in the wing spot. I think he's about 6'8". And then I'm going Luke O'Brien at the 4. He's a stretch 4 from Colorado. Transferred from Colorado, was there 4 years. And to me, he's a key addition and great addition by Coach Stoudemire's staff because he knows what it's like to get to the NCAA tournament. He knows how to win. He knows, the responsibility and habits that you have to put in on a daily basis to get to that level. So I think he'll be a great addition to this team. He can shoot the ball, great stroke, good size, 6'9", can play the wing, but also can bang and get rebounds for you. So he's going to be a great stretch 4 for the team. And then I'm going by Ndongo, small ball 5. That to me is the best bread and butter that Tech had last year when you had him at the 5, and he was unbelievable last year. I mean, he 12 and 8, I think were his stats. But just a great solid 5 right there. And then you got a good bench core. I think the difference from this year from last year is they have a bench. They got some great freshmen coming in. You got Jaden Mustaf, top 40 player from OTE. You got Darion Sutton, also an OTE guy, top 100. And then Dio, we called him. In the summer, I was there working, so I was calling him Dio. But Dorian, another good player. 3 great freshman kids. Lance played a couple years ago now, but redshirted last year due to injury, and he was getting you 10 plus points a game. So to have that luxury on the bench coming off, I think he's going to be 6-man for sure. He's a great shooter, very athletic, just a little undersized for a wing or a 2-guard, but plays really, really hard, guards very well, super athletic, just a good hard-nosed player. He reminds me of kind of like a Josh Hart, just a little bit smaller. And then you got Duncan Powell, transferred from Sacramento State. He's another seasoned guy who's got a ton of college experience, but you need those types of guys. He's similar to Luke. He's been around the game, and he knows just the level of physicality and, those daily habits that I was mentioning earlier. You have to have those kind of guys. So that mixture between youth and old is really good. And hopefully you can guide those freshmen to give them good production. And then I think Ibrahim Soare is a wild card. He redshirted last year. He's about 6'11", but if he can shoot a corner 3 or 2, make threes and stretch the floor a little bit, he's super athletic, plays really, really hard as well, and he's got great size for 6'10" freshman, 6'11" redshirt freshman. I think he'll be a wild card for sure because he played high school ball, travel ball with Nate, so they have a great connection on the offensive end for lobs and screening, and just a good feel for each other. And when you have that type of chemistry where it's kind of without saying things, you know what each other are going to do, that's extremely helpful for a team, and hopefully that type of chemistry can help everyone else. So here's a schedule that, as I was mentioning, in the first 7 games, they have all home games and they're non-conference. So you need to win all 7 to me. You got to go 7-0 because the month of December, holy crap, Merry Christmas, Georgia Tech. You got away at Oklahoma, at UNC, neutral site versus Northwestern, home to Duke, and home to Notre Dame. Those 5 games in December. I think there's like a playing game with A&M. I think it's like Alabama A&M or something. That one should be a win. But those 5 games in December, woo, you gotta make a statement, because those are going to tell you what your team is and who you have for sure. Key interesting fact about the Oklahoma matchup is you got 2 players on each team, one from each team, that went to that previous school. So you got Javion McCollum transferred from Oklahoma, and then you got Jalen Moore from Oklahoma, who was one of my teammates my senior year, who transferred from Georgia Tech to Oklahoma, which is now in his 2nd year. So that'll be like a little revenge tour for the 2 of them. So it'll be a good matchup to see. My predictions for the year. I think Georgia Tech finishes in the top 8 in the ACC. They're going to get 20-plus wins, which hopefully puts them in the top 8 for the conference. They're going to get 10-plus wins in conference play. Right now they're projected, I think, 9-11 on KenPom, but if they can get over 500 record in ACC play, that should put them top 10 for sure, but maybe it stretches to the top 8. And then I think Nate George, big statement right here, gets all ACC first team and leads the league in assists. This kid, to me, he's going to take off. I think he's just now reaching his potential. He's kind of that late bloomer. He reclassed to go into college, and, he's a diamond in the dozen. He reminds me of Jose a little bit, but I wouldn't say he plays as hard as Jose, but he has a little bit more savviness to his game, and he's a great passer. Unbelievable feel on the court to be like a floor general. So yeah, those are my predictions for Georgia Tech team now and this year going forward. So next I want to talk to you guys about college athletics, specifically in college basketball and the state of that. So I'm going to give you a scenario. Imagine you're an 18-year-old kid, senior in high school, and you're offered $170,000 to come and play at a Power 4 school. And if you don't know what the Power 4 is, it's the ACC, the SEC, the Big 10, and the Big 12. So all 4 of those conferences. Now there's about 15 teams, it feels like, in each conference. So that's about 60 schools in college that you can choose from in the Power 4. And on average, kids are getting offered $170,000 to come and play straight out of high school. Here's another tidbit for you. Average playing time for a freshman in Power 4 conferences is about 12 to 18 minutes, which is less than half of the game. And the reason I'm saying that is because when you give a kid that type of money and then he only plays less than half the game, there's going to be some turmoil and some friction and tension throughout the years. My point is, and the reason I'm saying all this is, in no way, shape, or form am I saying that the NIL or compensation for players is not needed. I think it was an extremely good adjustment to the NCAA landscape, and the efforts and commitments to be a Division I athlete is insane. You got to spend at least 10,000 hours in the gym, if not twice as much, and it is your life, and all you'll do is hoop. And I understand that because I went through it a little bit, and I see these guys working on a day-to-day basis, and it's absolutely insane. And so I think NIL is needed for sure, but there needs to be a change. And to me, it's turned into a full-fledged business like the NBA, and it's your full-time job. But people understand these kids are also students at the same time. And I'm not saying that this is a bad thing, but I think colleges have gotten smart about, having an online class or taking less classes in the fall and spring to make their loads a little smaller so that they can take classes in the summer. which is all good things, all smart things for colleges to do. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but you have to remember that these kids are still kids. They're 18 years, 19 years old. And when you put this type of money in front of them on the table, and it's what they all think about it. And I don't think that's what it needs to be. I think that the reason NIL came into the world was for kids to earn pay based on their name, image, and likeness. New formula that I've kind of thought about and wanted to talk to you guys about. For example, let's say you're signed to play. Here's my scenario. You're signed to play in a Power 4 school, ACC, SEC, Big 10, Big 12. Off rip, base salary, $100K. Every kid who's on a scholarship gets $100K if you're signed to one of those schools. Let's take Bai and Dongo from Georgia Tech and give an example of that $100K base salary with incentives to make more money based on the contract. And it's going to be different for every school and, every kid, because at a high school, there's certain rankings. Bai was a 4-star, and it might be different for a Georgia Tech than it is a blue blood like, Kentucky or UConn. Their incentives might be different, but that's based on you signing the kid because you're investing your time, your energy, your money into that kid. So hear me out. Bai and Dongo from Georgia Tech averaged 12.5 points, 8.5 rebounds, little over a block a game. I'd give them 5,000 off rip, 10 plus points, and another 5 for over a block a game. So there's 10K in incentives immediately for the year. And then I'm throwing in all the awards that he had for the year. He had ACC Rookie of the Week 3 times. He was all tournament team for Diamond Head Classic, and he was ACC all rookie team. So cumulative for all those awards, and even if I was missing any, you have $25,000 in bonuses from paying for his performance throughout the year, which is the key words, paying for performance. Paying for performance. That's where I'm saying this should be at. So now his NIL contract is $125,000. But what people forget, and they don't forget, but they don't realize, and where I think this is where name, image, and likeness is the key. Throughout the year, he's winning those awards. He's getting all-team tournament. He's, averaging these numbers. He's going to get more attention. He's going to get more in interviews and media, articles, and, we might get on ESPN, or we might play, primetime games, et cetera, et cetera. And so what does that translate to? More events for him to get paid for, more gatherings for him to go to sign autographs to get paid for, more social media posts for him to do. That all creates, commission. And so that adds to your NIL earnings. And to me, that puts him 200,000 plus, but that's throughout the year. And you're not telling him as soon as he walks in the door that he's going to make $200,000 when he signs to Georgia Tech. He's going to earn it, which to me, that type of formula is where Georgia Tech, or where college athletics should get to, because it translates. It helps the kid know, okay, I worked my tail off. I'm going to make the money I can make to change my life. And in return, these colleges aren't putting lump sum down and then banking on the kid doing well, and he doesn't do well, and now he transfers, and you just paid him a lot of money to do basically nothing for you. So in a way, it's going to protect the kids, and it's going to protect the universities. But that's just my little tidbit and scenario for just college athletics. It's going to be different for every sport, but that's just my 2 cents on where college athletics should be or should go towards. And that's my, little scenario to help people understand where I think it should be. So if you enjoyed this video about Georgia Tech, I love Georgia Tech. I can't wait to see the season. Hope they do really, really well. Love my guys. Love the team out there. So if you enjoyed this video, like the video, subscribe, and comment about NIL. I think it's good for me to hear your thoughts. I think there's always room for people to talk about things and see where it's going to go. So appreciate your time. We'll be back for another episode in about a week. And I'll see you guys then. Peace and love, baby. Influence the world.